Good morning, pregame crew. How are ya? It is Thursday, February 16th, 2023, 8:22 a.m. Eastern, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time. Good morning, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. We have a lot of data coming up in 8 minutes, and I'll officially get started at that time. Between now and then, I'm going to say hello to my friends and do a couple chart requests, and I need an audio-visual check, please. There we go. Thank you, Night Truck. Good morning, Carlos. Welcome to the chart, guys. Welcome to the family. That's awesome. Look forward to collaborating. Hey, Keith, Greg. Hey, Nugget, Rachel, Night Truck, Tess, Topher, Sam. Hi, Rachel, Andre, Joe, Kipu. Hey, Bennett, Casey, James, Kevin, the other Carlos, Mal, Basque, Duke, Sal, Caesar. Hey, Joe, Jess, Robert, Mighty Pawns. Man, so sorry, Joe. Nightbot does not like your emojis. It just keeps blocking them. Sorry about that. Hey, Robert, Ham, B-Hawk, Simeon, KK, Ricardo, Homebody, Lisa, Corin. Good morning. Let's go back up to the top. Let's see if we have some chart requests. Live Nation. Okay, looks like they have earnings coming up next week. We're anticipating a lower high on the daily compared to 82.98. Weekly, we're inside last week's range. Bears are looking to top fish. 81.04 is a safer level here from intraday on Thursday, February 9th. 15-minute uptrend. Hourly charts holding EMAs. It looks okay right now, but bears will be looking for a top fish. It may take hourly overbought to get there for a safer risk to reward top fish. Good morning, Pura Vida. Hey, Jungle and Corin, Caesar. Yeah, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Okay, if you want to see PPI right when it comes out, you can look at investing.com and it will populate as soon as that data is out in the actual column. It will populate. Investing.com, go to today's economic events. So that's one place you can see him. Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. Delta One is his handle, I believe. He is pretty fast to post it on Twitter. And if you're a TCG member, you can find that in the news channel. Carlos, you're second. You're Carlos Puente. You are always number one. You're always number one, but you were second to post. Okay. Corey, okay, BuzzFeed. Beat. Had a little pop. AI had a good day yesterday. But what has it really done to change this chart? Not a lot. A weekly high or low is anticipated. We're stuck inside last week's range. Daily chart, we're looking for a lower high compared to 251. 4 hour has made enough room for a higher low. Your support, $1.98. It had a huge day yesterday, so for me, this would be first 5 minute or 15 minute oversold during regular trading hours. Would be the next viable setup. Hola, Joka. ADA. Okay. We were looking at this last time I looked at potential weekly inverse head and shoulders. That is confirming. I would say that right shoulder is kind of weak. It didn't really form, but either way, we have a weekly bull break. Daily has made enough room for a higher low. 4 hour has made enough room for a higher low. Hourly, we're holding EMAs. This is put up or shut up moment for bulls. We're approaching 50 RSI and 21 EMA. We need to hold that line right here. We already got 5-minute oversold, so your next trade setup is first 15-minute oversold. An aggressive bull could look to bottom fish 4019, and a conservative bull is waiting for a 15-minute oversold back burner trade. Yes, Simeon, I trade options, I trade futures, I trade husbands. No, I don't do that anymore. I trade it all. I trade everything but Forex, and I may venture into Forex before it's all said and done. Who knows? I should mention that options are a great vehicle for medium size accounts in order to build. If you are a seasoned options trader with a very clear system and edge, it is a great way to blow up a small account, or any size account for that matter, if you don't know what you're doing and you see it as a gambling vehicle. Larger accounts that are getting larger and larger, I find that people just start switching from options back over to commons, because you can still get essentially the same amount of leverage to a degree by just buying more shares and just scalping them for 20, 30 cents. So I see that switch where people go from commons to options and then back to commons. And that's very common. Ha ha ha. Okay. We're looking for a daily higher low compared to 497. Had a great bounce yesterday. It's not as great as BZFD was, though. We have data in 1 minute. Bears could look to top fish 409. Real quick, let's go look at the indices before this data comes out. We have PPI and initial jobless claims and building permits. So from the low of yesterday to the high of yesterday, we pulled back about 65%. So that's somewhat bearish. So on the next bounce, bears will be looking to top fish against 416850 because of the size of this retracement. I think I have some good educational nuggets for you today. It's to be determined, TBD. We'll see if you like it. All right, so your next support is 4113 and your resistance 416850. Pretty broad range here. I'm going to get rid of those fibs and just draw my lines again so you can see the support. Okay, data should be out. And we have a bearish reaction initially. 4113 is that number. Didn't get close enough for a bottom fish for me. Okay, so we go look at investing.com. Here's the data. Building permits, a little less than forecasted. Core PPI, higher than forecasted. Initial jobless claims has not formatted yet. 194,000 versus 200,000 expected. So that's all your data right there. PPI 0.7 versus 0.4. Core PPI was 0.5 versus 0.3. Okay. Let's see, we're stabilizing in this area. And remember now, the most important levels are the high of the reaction and the low of the reaction. If we breach 4125, I would anticipate that 4113 would get tagged if we breach that 412525. Here we go. I'm going to watch this just for a second and then we'll get to the show. Bulls are trying to play a little bit of defense here. Yep, good news is bad news is good news. It just all varies. My goal in being here every morning is not to pretend to be an economist. It's literally the most boring topic I had in business school. And so you can have that and the economists can do that for us. I'll just stick in my zone and my lane, which is technical analysis. Good morning. All right, let's get this show on the road. Looks like bulls are still playing defense down here at 412525. So this is who I am. Good morning. I'm Chart Gal Lori. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter at Chart Gal Lori, you can check us out at chartguys.com. And what I do here every morning is I go over indices, commodities, crypto movers and shakers of the day. And my goal is to get you ready for the trading day. And at Chart Guys, we teach technical analysis. And every morning I go over my table, which still is leaning a little bit more bullish than bearish this morning. And I have my notes, which are typically off screen. Then I copy those over to TCG members when I'm done. I'm going to show portions of my notes today. So let's go look at ES. Let's delete all the lines again and let's look at it. What have we done? Have we done anything terrible? Yes, we just broke the low of that reaction. Again, 4113 was the low of yesterday. Key support, then 410375 is below it. So we double topped back here on that CPI number. We double topped. And we have enough room for a higher low compared to 4060. So we had a daily downtrend, lower low, lower high. Now where do we set the higher low if we get one at all? Where do we set it? Is the question. So 4-hour bull flag was what I was looking at much earlier this morning. That is now negated. And now bears could be looking to top fish hourly lower highs compared to 416850. NASDAQ. Hello, hello. Okay, NASDAQ is pulled back as well, more than they would like. So now bears are looking to top fish 12784 and 1279275 due to the size of this pullback. The size of this pullback just shifts the tone. It shifts the tone of the day. Then you say, okay, well, I'm looking early on to be a bull and see if this level holds. And then as the day progresses, if this low holds on any bounce, I'm looking to be a bear. So there's two different play setups today as I see it. It doesn't mean it'll play out like that, but that's the more likely scenario. That's probably the most two important sentences I'm going to say today. That's probably the more likely scenario, is looking for bull dips or bear dips to buy this morning against support for potential 4-hour higher lows, and then on bounces looking to flip short. RTY, that's not terrible. Their pullback is not as great as ES or NASDAQ. They've only pulled back 50%. So small caps are holding up a little bit better this morning. Still on bounces, you could look to short 1970, but I'd rather short ES. It's a little bit weaker than this. So holding up okay. We're sitting here on the hourly 50 MA, my Great Wall of Louisiana. Let's see if that holds for RTY. We saw that small caps were the boss yesterday. If we go scroll down on my watch list here, and you look at all the large numbers, 17%, 28%, they're mostly small caps. PLTR 9%, UPST, a new small cap, 28%. It used to be bigger. Riot 12%. Mara 18%, CBNA 18%. So it makes sense why RTY would hold up a little bit better here in pre-market. YM, we're looking for a 4-hour higher low compared to 33871. The tighter we go in this 4-hour EQ. I was going to mention the megaphone, but I've talked about it so much this week, you get the picture. On the 4-hour, we're up here testing resistance at 1941, and you have support at 1811. Bulls are really pushing here on VIX. That's a headwind for the indices. US 10-year testing resistance up here. We have a little bit of a double top. It can be a headwind for indices. We had a Hang Seng that was green overnight. DAX was green. Bitcoin, what a raging bull. 4-hour bull flag still in play, able to break through resistance. Weekly got another higher high, just beautiful move. But look where we are on Bitcoin. At the 50 and 200 MA on the weekly overhead. That could prove to be strong resistance. However, I feel more comfortable today looking for back burner trades on Bitcoin, looking for first 15-minute higher low to buy versus top fishing. Ethereum, however, ran into its resistance. It ran into weekly resistance of 1714. We hit 1712 overnight, double top, and that's where we are pulling back. So on the 4-hour, we still have a potential bull flag. So again, if you have no position and you're looking for one, I would look to play back burner trades. First 5-minute oversold already happened, so now you're looking for first 15-minute oversold. Hey, Norma. Exactly, more Gilstray, fine. Fubo's up 20% in 3 days. IWM has been pretty busy. Small caps have been popping. Shopify had earnings. Chris, they had a negative reaction to their earnings. Somehow they missed, or earnings was weak. Either way, the price action was weak after. Gold's trying to bounce here. Let's look at the dollar. Dollar's trying to bounce. And I'm going to talk about the dollar. I have never gotten so many comments than I'd had yesterday because I was talking about the correlation and how important 104 was. What did dollar do when it got over 104? Nothing. It made no traction. It was essentially a look above and fail. And then it started pulling back, and then the market bounced. So we see bull and bear breaks all the time that do not have follow through or staying power. So then the most likely scenario is that's not going to have an impact on the market because that wasn't strong enough for the bulls to get follow through on that bull break. But it made me think, because all of you are like, well, it's over 104 now, the market's going to crash, that maybe I need to go over correlations again and how I use them, because somehow yesterday my messaging was not clear. So let's go over. I think I have an analogy for you, and if you hate it, tell me and we'll work on it. So correlations. For me, think of ES or the index as a marriage or a relationship. How many variables can stack up against a relationship to tear it apart versus how many things can come into a relationship that support it, nourish it, and make it do better? It's not a headwind, it's a tailwind. So the dollar can sometimes be the mother-in-law that likes to stick their nose into a marriage and try to break it apart, and it creates a headwind and chaos for a relationship or marriage. And then sometimes you have a wonderful mother-in-law who supports the marriage and it helps it. And then sometimes you have seasons where the mother-in-law is helpful, other times it's not. Sometimes money is good in a relationship and it's making you come together with that security that you're feeling. And then other times money is tight and it can just be the inverse and pull you apart. But they all have seasons. So this table, it would be like me just coming down here and writing, okay, delete them. So for marriage, mother-in-law, money, children, politics, religion, social circles. And I say, okay, what's the most important thing in a marriage that could negatively impact it? Mother-in-law, 7.5. Money, 8.5. Children, 8.5. And some days it's going to be bullish and helpful to the marriage. Sometimes it's going to be bearish. It's not always, here is the relationship, 1-to-1 every time. It's not always like that. So I thought maybe that Paul loves his mother-in-law. Okay, well, maybe that helped. I don't know if it's helped or not, but maybe it will help you in recognizing sometimes these correlations are inverse and they are strong correlations. And I have found that the dollar has been a strong inverse correlation to the market for a couple months now, and I've been using it to my advantage. And some days the indices can just shake it off and they can say, I don't care that I have a meddling, nosy mother-in-law. My marriage is strong. I don't care. And they shake it off. Well, that's what the ES Bulls did yesterday. They said, you're going to look over 104? Well, you don't scare me. And they just shook it off. That just showed the market's strength. So maybe that helped. Maybe it didn't. We have a correlations video that Dan did, and I promise he doesn't talk about marriage or analogies or mother-in-laws at all in that video. But just understand that correlations are always subject to change, and indices can sometimes shake them off. And so it just helps you say, this is working, so I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this inverse correlation. Oh, this has stopped working, so I'm not going to look at it anymore. All right, Run X5, you liked it? Good. I'm glad the analogy worked for somebody. So the dollar is showing some interim strength here as the market continues to pull back. We have not breached that 4113 on indices yet. So let's see what the dollar bulls are able to do with the 4 hour. Are they able to go tackle that 104.11 with meaningful continuation? And is that a headwind for the market? Is the market able to shrug it off? We'll see. Okay, Austin, good. I'm glad that made sense. I'm so glad it made sense. Okay, gold is in a daily downtrend. We're still looking for a weekly high or low on gold. This dollar strength currently is not helping the dollar. Excuse me. I took the dollar off my screen. Okay, it's on my other screen now. So this dollar strength is not helping gold find that bottom. Daily's not oversold, and 4 hour is no longer oversold on gold. So bulls are buying this dip right now on gold. They're shrugging off that dollar strength. Your resistance 1849.90, then 1854. Bulls still have a lot of work to do on the hourly. Carlos, same as me. Oil. So oil is pulling back here. We're in an hourly downtrend. We had a huge build yesterday, and that impacted oil bearishly at the time of inventory. And then again, what should have impacted oil negatively, it did short term. They were able to shrug it off and say, who cares? We think price is going higher, and they bought it. So now bears are fighting back. We have an hourly downtrend. And 4 hour, we have enough room for a higher low. I think the hourly is providing the clarity for me now. You're at the moment, your next support 78.28, 77.25. This is a bearish reversal candle forming on oil with this large upper wick. Nat gas has inventory today at 10:30 Eastern. So on nat gas, we're anticipating a 4 hour lower high. This is not what you want to see. Bulls use all this buying power, give almost all of it back, use all this buying power, give almost all of it back. This is not a tale of strong bulls. This is still favoring the bears with this type of price action. Apple still finding resistance here. At 155.50, 155.51, we still have a double top in that area. We're approaching the hourly 50 MA. Let's see if that holds. Intraday support is at 153.50, and then your low of yesterday, 152.88. If we look at things objectively, and I understand extended hours aren't shown right now, but let's see, where is price? 153.74. Price is right here in pre-market. We're still well above that daily 8 EMA. So just be careful getting overly bearish on these names when bulls that have missed this run up. That's why pullbacks are for buying when you're in an uptrend, because these bulls have FOMO and they just keep constantly buying the dip. And you know, there will come a time where they stop buying the dip, and we'll have to take note of that, notice bear volume and the like. But right now, bulls are not in super trouble yet unless they lose the low of yesterday, and then we have more meaningful consolidation coming in. So the low of yesterday becomes the litmus test for so many names. So on Apple, that's 152.88, 152.88. You see how 15-minute is oversold here now? So we'll see if Apple can get a bounce before that level. This data, if it's perceived to be pretty negative, then it could overrule our back burner goals. So I think we have back burners set up today on these small caps like CBNA, MARA, Riot, UPST. All four of those are candidates for back burners today for me, Queen of the Mountain. And it may be first 15-minute oversold where we look for it versus first 5-minute oversold. And if the market continues to pull down hard, it may be hard for these back burners to work. And then bears are looking to top fish bounces. So if you're a bear, you don't want to short in the hole. You want to wait for bounces to short. Okay, we're oversold hourly on NASDAQ now. Let's go look at it. Okay, we're coming up on support 12524 with hourly oversold in a 4-hour uptrend. This is typically a great location to look for a potential reversal. Doesn't mean we'll get it because this is news related. The RSI could mean less. But we're stopping here at 12550. No, bears still have this. They're still trucking. They want 12524. 12524 is your next support. Okay. Okay. I did that. Sorry, we did Apple. Now let's go back to Amazon. When I lose my place, I'm like, where was I? Amazon's coming up on the hourly 50 MA, and it's all about 98.45. So if you trade nope, 15th. If you trade Amazon a lot, you're going to want to know if it's breaking through the low of yesterday. If it breaks through the low of yesterday, then you know the next bounce, 5 or 15 minute overbought, to look for a potential short. Those are just examples. It's not always going to work like that where this always sets up this trade, but it's just things to think about. So I'm always setting alerts for names that I trade a lot. NVIDIA had lost the hourly EMAs this morning, was looking a little weaker than most, and it sure is. We're coming up hot on 221.06, yesterday's low. What does SMH look like? It doesn't have a lot of pre-market action usually. SMH may be a short today. 24755 coming in hot. Looking a little weak. Okay, back to Tesla. Tesla's been able to shake it off, but even they can't shake it off now, which just shows the strength of this bear move to the downside at the moment. So 209.68 is your next support, then 206.11. Do y'all see these little orange triangles here? Here and here? That is hourly 30. RSI oversold and 70 overbought. I trade Tesla a lot, and those are perpetual alerts. I want to know when Tesla gets to first hourly oversold in this chart setup. That could be a wonderful long, an absolutely wonderful long, and it will depend on where the market is at the moment, but it could be a wonderful long. So I always want to know when that happens. Okay, ES is through that 4113. 4100 is your next support on ES. Okay, so let me hit the water. CVNA. Okay, we're getting first 15-minute oversold in pre-market. That's kind of busting our setup idea. I want that to happen during regular trading hours with the support to play off, and it's happening in pre-market. So now this setup comes off the table for me. MARA just crossing 15-minute oversold again. This long idea comes off the table because the 15-minute oversold happened during extended hours. Riot, same thing. UPST, same thing. So now we look for potential 30-minute oversold on these names, or then we just say, okay, forget it. I'm not even gonna look at RSI. Now what I want is a 5-minute or 2-minute trend change, and then I'll try a bottom fish looking for that hourly higher low because we have enough room for it. 20.05. We're above it by 55 cents right now. CVNA, does that look better? Yep, a little better. MARA looks even better. So MARA may be one where we say, okay, forget 15-minute oversold. Now I'm just going to wait for a 2-minute trend change, and then I'll go long. So you can still bottom fish it. You're just changing the fishing pole that you're using from back burner to a 2-minute trend change in price pattern. All right, JPM. Dang it, busted setup. I wanted to top fish 144 again. It worked yesterday. I top fished this 143.65. This is a beautiful trade because it looked like a rising wedge going into that resistance. And then today we're going right back up into that 144. So now another bounce. I still like a JPM short because it keeps working for me. And I had this thing on correlation versus causation that I was going to go over, but I feel like it's too deep of a topic to cover in such a short time frame this morning. But I just want you to know that these things that we look at, does a strong dollar cause the market to go down? Or is it just a correlation? Does 50 RSI actually serve as support and cause price to bounce, or is it just a correlation? Is a strong VIX a cause for the market to go down? Well, in some parts, maybe all of them combined, yes, they could cause the market to go down. But individually, they're just correlations. They're not causation. So I'd hope I'm not muddying the waters. I probably shouldn't have even brought that up. I just think it's important for us to associate, like, does a bad mother-in-law is she the cause of a divorce, or is she just a correlation, a loosely held correlation that was a contributing factor, but not the cause? And knowing the difference, I think, may be important for some of you. Others of you shake it all off and you're like, forget all that. I'm just going to focus on price action, and that's okay too. Yep, NASDAQ 12,500 is the line. Potential 2-minute bear flag. Bulls are trying to shake it off right here. One minute 8 EMA acting as resistance. And you can also go to a 5-minute for a potential stair step on whatever name you're looking at. Let's see if it'd work on ES. ES 2-minute, that's not a clear stair step. 5-minute is, so we may have stair step trade setups going into the open. Exactly, her best friend too. Okay, could you hit that like button? There are 360 of you currently online. If you could hit that like button, that'd be great. Go give me a follow on Twitter at ChartGalLori, and I will do a chart request or two. Okay. Shopify. Okay, so these are the names that, in general, and watch me generalize again. So I'm going to generalize. When we have an earnings miss or something that's digested bearishly, and then we get a little bounce, and then the market comes in pretty hard, these names are going to get beat up a lot more than other names because they're already weak. So Shopify bounces are for shorting. This is not a name to look for a bottom fish on. I want to bottom fish CVNA. I want to bottom fish MARA. The stronger names, when they come in on market weakness, I want to look to bottom fish those, not Shopify. So just know that. Low of pre-market 46.25. Your next support is 46.10. Then you're looking way down at $41. Levanta, that's so funny. My family tells me I have no accent left and I'm totally cityfied. Hey, Sam, I already did Tesla. If you want to rewind it, 209.68 is your next support. And I said I was looking for first hourly oversold. GDXJ. Gold needs to find a bottom. In order for GDXJ to find a bottom, we're coming up here on support 33.89. Looking for that weekly higher low with 4-hour again oversold. Look, we've been oversold since Jesus was a baby. For a week, we've been oversold. So that doesn't even count anymore. We need more than just oversold. We're at the daily 200 MA. It's put up or shut up for gold bulls, and with dollar strength, that's going to be a very tall order for gold to get its bounce on. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. TCGers, I'll give these notes. I'll post them over in the room, and whoever was not on the show are going to look at marriage in my notes and be like, what the heck was Lori talking about today? All right, y'all use stop losses.